thank you for waking us all up out here.
For all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping to keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Daybreak with Drew Steele.
So let me just start by saying this. The Speaker of the House, Byron Donalds, had an amazing ring to it. It was in my head. Comes off the lips perfectly. Would have been incredible. But, alas, not what we have here. But
I want to say to the American people, on behalf of all of us here, we hear you. We know the challenges you're facing. We know that there's a lot going on in our country, domestically and abroad, and we are ready to get to work again to solve those problems.
And that is just part of the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who yesterday got the votes needed, and there he is. And Congressman Byron Donalds joining us right now on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News to speak to this and some other issues. First of all, good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Drew. How are you?
I'm well. What a whirlwind of events taking place, as the process went through, and many people had fingers and toes crossed that it was going to be you. And certainly as the process went on, there was a Tom member there, and then he drops out, and then it's like, this is the moment. And then all of a sudden, Representative Mike Johnson comes along, and I have to say there were a lot of people that are like, who is Mike Johnson? But ultimately, we finally do have a Speaker of the House, and maybe your thoughts on the process and where we are right now.
So, look, on the process, it was messy process. Overall, you're talking about McCarthy was vacated. Steve Scalise just couldn't get the votes. Everybody saw what happened with Jim Jordan, and it became clear he couldn't get the votes. Tom Emmer, he couldn't get the votes, but I respect Tom because he made the right decision, and it was a quick decision.
Yeah. And
then and Mike was able to get the votes. And, I think in the last round of balloting, in the round of balloting when Tom Emmer was on the ballot, Mike and I had a private conversation on the side, and I was, it was basically like, listen, if you're ahead of me, okay, good, but, we need to end this. And I think his mindset was there, my mindset was there, that this has to stop. We got to get back to the floor. And so, when he was pulling ahead, I was fine with that because it's not really about either one of us. And that's actually, let me back up. You ask who is Mike Johnson? He's a man of impeccable character and integrity. He really is.
Yeah.
He's somebody that the entire chamber could trust with the speaker's gavel, and they could trust would actually work hard for all the policies that we care about. That's who he is. And so when he pulled ahead and became the nominee, that was the easiest support speech I've ever given because I've got a chance to work with him. I know him. He is a good man, and I think the American people saw that in his acceptance speech on the floor yesterday. Because what we've come accustomed to in these speeches are, pomp, circumstance, grand rhetoric, high-level oratory, except for Joe Biden. But no, seriously. But it lacks sincerity, and it's full of cliches. And that's not Mike. It's never going to be him. What America saw yesterday on the House floor is exactly who Mike Johnson is. Mm-hmm. And I think we picked the right person. I'm very happy that he's Speaker of the House.
Yeah. A couple of things come to mind through this whole process, and even up to the very end. There were people that I talked to, and look, I'll just say it. People got weeded out. And whether it was you or him, it was going to be someone that shows a couple of different things. Number one, when CNN goes on the air yesterday and is upset because, man, it's hard, literally saying, and I hate to use the word literally, but they did, hard to demonize this guy. He may be a huge conservative, but he's not the devil incarnate, and it's hard to demonize him. And it's true. I guess it's one of those things that people are going to discover about him. And I would say the same about you as well. The two people that could have been the last two standing, and obviously either one, you or him, I think fantastic choices for that reason, but also the fact that through this whole process, it was I'm trying to remember who it was that we played the audio clip of just the other day, where they were talking about how the conference, it's just different now. The conference is different. Everything it's changing. It's internally that things are changing. And maybe to the point, and you don't have to speak to Matt Gaetz directly, but maybe to the point of, look, getting through all of this was a process, and this process needed to take place to get to where we are right now, whether it was going to be you or whether it was going to be Mike Johnson, is like, this is where we should be. And this is kind of like the new normal. This is what it is moving forward. And there are people that are going to, as I described earlier, the swamp is grabbing you by the ankles and trying to pull you back into the swamp, and Mike Johnson and everybody else, and you're kicking back and saying, no, we're not doing this. And there are people in the Republican Party, I kind of felt like, have been doing that through this whole process. And ultimately, they didn't win. And I think that's what I feel. I don't know if that makes sense to you, if you sense that at all, that like there are literally, I use the word literally again, I'm sorry. There's a change afoot.
Yeah, you're actually spot on, Drew. There's a lot of things that I'm not going to say in this interview that were happening. But let me say this, the swamp, if you will, was alive and well. And I believe that is one of the reasons why it took several weeks for this to get done. But, that being said, moving forward, I think that Mike, he was, first of all, nobody expected this was going to happen. And so when it became clear that were there efforts afoot to stop Mike? Yeah. Were there efforts afoot to stop me? Yes. But I think what ended up happening is that the members of the conference basically took over the process, and they just said, no, enough. Like, we're not doing this anymore.
That's good.
And so, they rallied, we basically made sure that the outcome was going to be to the benefit of the members and to the benefit of the people. And I think that's why you have the CNNs of the world being like, well, who is this person? Like, how did this happen? Yeah. One of the things is important to understand is the lines of leadership up here on Capitol Hill, somewhat similar to Tallahassee. There are clear lines that are developed over time, so you kind of see the next person coming. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The lobbyists see that person coming. The members know, oh, well, this is the next person. I just got to fall in line and that kind of stuff. Same thing up here on Capitol Hill. No different. The major donors know who this person is. They see it coming. And then what ends up happening is that the leadership team just keeps perpetuating itself. And I think that the members are done with that. The members don't want to see that anymore. They want fresh leadership. Yeah. That's what they want. Yeah. And that's a good thing for the institution, because then it's not just about, well, you raising me money. It's about, are you going to be the leader that's going to get the job done? And we trust that you're going to get it done. And I think that's critically important, not just for where the Republican Party is. It's important for how people view the United States government. Yeah. It is important for the republic to survive.
It's also important that we feel like this was a win. Like, we won here. I mean, it's a small victory. I mean, it's not winning the war, but it's a battle. And the battle was that the swamp did not win. They did not get what they wanted. The people that have been putting the gum in the works, so to speak, did not get what they wanted out of this process. It didn't come out that way. I would say that there are probably some people that love the chaos, or the quote unquote chaos, or to have those on the left that were trying to make it sound as if it was chaotic. And for many, it was, in that we didn't have a speaker for this long, and it felt like, here we go again. But at the end of the day, to get the win, as people would say, because it's a new day, that feels good, in all of this. And I just wonder, by the way, Congressman Byron Donalds joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News, this Thursday visit. And then on the other side of that, some of the things that he brought up, I was disappointed when he mentioned about border security, and it looked as if there were a whole lot of Democrats that didn't want to get up for that. They didn't stand and applaud for that. A little weird. Yeah. Disappointing. About helping Israel right away. was important. I wonder if some people are texting. I wonder is he going to be somebody who will plan on releasing the January 6th footage? I mean, is he not go? Is he going to maybe isn't talking about it out loud, but is someone who's going to see to it that a lot of the things that were proceeding before will continue to, and then some? I mean, I wonder what you think about that.
I think he said he would. I can't remember. I think we were in one of the candidate forums for speaker. I believe he said he would. Yeah. I'll have to go. I got to go back and think about it. But securing the border, we actually talked about that and the different ways to get it done, and a lot of the things that we have to occur. And listen, we have several leverage points that we can use right now for border security. Actually, when he talked about border security, there were Democrats that stood up. Those are the Democrats in vulnerable districts.
Yeah, right, exactly. The ones that wanted to be seen. Yeah. Yep.
Because they understand that the border's got to be secured or they're going to be out of a job.
Right, so bad.
And so the leverage, it's just what it is, Drew.
Yeah, I know.
The leverage
doesn't make it right or good
to do what needs to do is there. The speaker is going to have to wield it. Yeah. Because Joe Biden's not going to do anything without being leveraged. Yeah. And the Senate, you can leverage them because the Senate Democrats have to defend their map in 2024. They have more seats up in 24.
Right. Yeah. Some of the background on a lot of this but to see that is like, man, good. I mean, in some ways it's like, it's frustrating, but in some ways good. Let people see, in that way, it's a different world too. You know, people see what's going on. I was bringing that up earlier. Everybody sees what's happening along the border. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody can see some of the things that are happening. I mean, when you have the Robin Dunn Marcos, the director of ORR, who couldn't answer about the 85,000 lost accompanying the children, 85,000 kids lost. How do you defend that? And then even yesterday, with the Senate and Josh Hawley and questioning her, like, you still can't defend that. You can't defend these positions, and then to not stand up when we're talking about securing the border. That speaks volumes to who you are and politically where you stand. Important to see that.
It does, but the reason why, we all know this, the reason why they don't have the answer for the position is because the press never asked them about the position. The press will default to Donald Trump. Oh, did you hear what Donald Trump said coming out of court? Like, first of all, we know what's going on in these courtrooms. It is a travesty of justice. This is political retribution. We know that. Yeah. But how many times are you going to cover what Donald Trump says coming out of court? Why don't you actually cover the things that are affecting the nation? That's actually news. Why don't you cover the fact that an agency of the federal government has lost 85,000, the number's more by this point, migrant children in 2 years? That is insanity. This lost them in the United States. Have no idea where they are.
I can't even. I can't even breathe thinking about that. Like it takes my breath away, and how flippant they are in the discussion about where are they, and it just and then the discussion becomes, well, if we had more money, or if there's always an excuse. There should be none.
I wonder if AOC is going to cry or fake cry about the 85,000 children who have been lost in the United States.
No.
Because she was crying when they were in a holding facility in Homestead, Florida. Yeah. I wonder if she's going to cry now that they're lost. She's not, because she's a hypocrite. Yeah. Because all she cares about is the drama for her agenda. Yeah. And that's it.
All right, I'm going to play a clip of audio. This might be the toughest question you're going to get today. But I'm looking for the honesty. Okay, you ready?
Sure.
I'm going to play a clip, 15 seconds, and then I want your thoughts, because this drives me crazy. All right, 15 seconds. Here we go.
I was not trying to disrupt any, official government proceedings. So I'm glad, the investigation found that was the case. The misdemeanor charge of pulling the alarm, I admitted that from the very beginning. So, gotta take responsibility for it.
Got to take responsibility. That's Jamal Bowman. Who I guess.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah. So, and I know you know him because everybody has played the video over and over of the two of you on the steps there at the Capitol and the back and forth that happened. And I might even play the audio coming up this morning because it was a fun back and forth. But come on, what is he going to get? A misdemeanor, and he's paying $1,000 and off you go. And of course, you know what everybody's screaming. If it was anybody else, but
yeah.
I don't know. You have a thought on that?
Listen, here's what I know. in school, I was taught you don't pull the fire alarms unless there's actually a fire. But
well, wasn't that his whole thing?
Taught.
I mean, right? He's a principal in the school. Like he should know better of anybody. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, Drew, we know. We know.
Yeah.
If I pulled that fire alarm, they wouldn't be talking about no misdemeanor $1,000 fine. Let's just call a spade a spade. And I'm gonna say that because I'm black, he's black, so I can say that phrase. Let's just call a spade a spade. If it were me, it would have been more than $1,000 fine. It'd be wall-to-wall coverage. But that's just where we are, and it's truly sad. I think what's key is that as Republicans, we have to be very focused on how we, message to voters, message over the press, because the press will not do it, about how terrible Democrat policy is and what it's really done to the country. And then the second piece after that is we have to be very focused in these elections next year. I think when it comes to the investigations in Congress, which, by the way, are going to continue, that's not stopping. Yep. We have actually built a very strong case, and we're still getting more evidence to support that case. So it'll be beyond a reasonable doubt that Joe Biden should be impeached.
Yeah, by the way,
there's other information going on about Mayorkas and about Merrick Garland.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Mike Johnson was in the thick of all of that. I mean, with committees, right, and hearings about with Biden and all the corruption. So you would, and he knows exactly what's been happening. So you would imagine that someone who would be first and possibly even use the I word. If anyone was going to be Speaker of the House and might mention the I word when it comes to Biden and some of the things going on, it might be Mike Johnson. I'm just saying, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's true. He can get there. He understands it. Yep. He was there in Judiciary. He's on the Weaponization of Government Committee.
Right.
He was there too, so he's fully aware, and he's not going to shy away from it. I know that.
Good.
So, we're going to keep this thing rolling. That's the way you deal with this stuff. The Jamal Bowman stuff, if it was a Republican, it would have been worse. If it was a regular citizen, it would have been worse. But this is what happens when you have a political U.S. attorney in the district, in the D.C. district. Yeah. It's what it is.
No, I know. Doesn't mean it's good. It means it's what it is.
No, it's not good. It's bad. I hate to say it is what it is, but that's where we are right now. Yeah. The question is, what do we focus on to change this to get the country on track?
Right, exactly. All right, Congressman Byron Donalds joining us on Daybreak 92.5 Fox News. All right, my friend. Have a good day. We'll see you soon, okay?
See you, Drew.
All right, see you.